Well, good afternoon, West Ham. See, I'm persevering. Russell West Ham Network, hope you're safe and well. David Moyes has just finished his press conference ahead of the Man City game tomorrow, 3 p.m. kickoff on a Saturday. What's going on with the world? Bit busy on the channel already today. We had a couple of videos up. One was Rich's preview. Fantastic content. He knows his stuff. There's old South Africa Rich. He really does. And then I did a little thought piece about Fornals' contract issues. And then at lunchtime, we had Mark Ward chatting about the game ahead. Obviously, he has a foot in both camps, so to speak, having left West Ham to sign for Man City. And he talks about Lou Macari and also some of his stories of his times at West Ham, as you can imagine, and looking forward to some of the events he's running. So go and check that out. It was great having half an hour of Mark's time and some great questions from the viewers watching live. If you want to make sure you don't miss any content, we've got some great interviews coming out. Make sure you hit the bell notification. And also don't forget to check out kneesatmamabrand.com with all the great stuff that the boys are doing there. So as we do on a Friday, we give you the synopsis of the David Moyes press conference. Not much. Obviously, thank God we're back from international breaks. And the first question actually was about international breaks and in terms of the team news itself. And yeah, it was relatively good news from David Moyes in terms of what's going down. This is what he said. He basically said that some of them have picked up little bits of knocks. Edison Alvarez had a delayed flight and returned home at 3 o'clock in the morning yesterday. It's part and parcel of international breaks. We're hoping that we have everybody fit and available. Obviously, there was concerns about Vladimir Sufel. There was concerns about James Ward-Prowse. But, obviously Vlad on international duty. He didn't go to the second game in Budapest when they played Hungary. He stayed in the Czech Republic and recovering from a slight knock. He was seen in training this week, thanks to Sky Sports. And so too was James Ward-Prowse, obviously not on the international duty. Thank you, Gareth Southgate. But he got a knock in training, was told to go home and rest up. He was meant to report back on Monday, didn't report back on Monday. So everyone was sort of panicking a little bit outside of West Ham because we didn't know where he was. And then, he was pitched on Wednesday. So it seems that we've got a fully fit squad, which is great. We've spoken about Man City. They've got, obviously, we know KDB is going to be out. Kovacic is going to be out as well for the game. And in terms of other doubts, I say Josh Stone. She's a good singer, but I don't know what she'd do centre half, though. John Stones and Jack Grealish are both doubtful, but more likely to play, if that makes sense. They're not 100% confirmed to play, but they're, more likely to play than not. There we go. Well done, Russ. Obviously, it's we had the end of the transfer window, didn't we? And also we've had the sending our squads, our 24-man squad. 24-man squads. So there's one place free, isn't there, West Ham? Wonder who that could be. And Moyes was asked about what he thought in terms of the business he's had. He goes, well, I'm pleased with the players we've got. The club have supported and backed us to get lots of good players, and we're building another good team to go. Again, I totally agree in terms of the new team. And so did Mark Ward when we spoke to him this afternoon. Asked about the new staff as well, not just new players, but new staff. He goes, well, we've lost Paul Nevin and Mark Warburton in the summer. Johnny Heitinger has come in. Mark Robson has come up from the 21s, and I think it's important to promote from within. And Eric Newman, too, who deserves the opportunity after his work with the analysis team. So it's going to be a different looking bench. A different looking bench for the Man City game. It's going to be interesting because obviously from my vantage point, so they split them. So you've got sort of, it used to be Paul Nevin was like down the touch. He was literally on the earpiece, and then Billy McKinley and various others were where the press box was, and they'd obviously communicate. Obviously, they could see the whole game as the whole pitch, so to speak. So I wonder who's going to be where. Who's going to be where? I'll let you guys know on Monday. I'll let you know who is up in the press stuff and who's down on the pitch. So you probably guess because you watch the game and you'll see who's on the bench. But I'll let you know. Yes, there'll be some new faces on the bench. Now, in terms of going forward, in terms of the captain. So obviously, Kurt's been skipper pretty much the whole or every game this season. And Moyes was going to make an official announcement in terms of who the captain is. I'm the captain now, as Captain Phillips would say, that film. I'm just a bit giddy because it's Friday, isn't it? More than anything. And he was asked who's basically skipper, and he basically confirmed what we all knew. Kurt will continue as captain. He's done a good job. We've won 3 and drawn 1 of the opening games, so he will continue in the role. So that to me gives Kurt the old green stamp, the old green where is stamp of approval. He is our new club captain, although it's not like a big official thing about it, but there you go. And and to be honest, I was like, to be fair, Kurt was probably ones I didn't think about when originally I was thinking about who we could get in. And it'd be interesting to see what happens because obviously injuries. I'd love to know in terms of who's going to be the vice captain and things like that. It would be interesting to know that because the chances are Kurt's going to get injured, isn't he? Between now and May, he'll get injured for a bit. He'll miss half a dozen games at least. Who comes in then? And obviously play Man City, and then we play on Thursday, don't we, in the Europa League first game, TSC. We're going to talk about that as well in a minute. But in terms of, as he said, 3 games, one draw, top 4 clash. It's the Super Cup that we all wanted, wasn't it? The Champions League winners against the Europa Conference League winners. And Moyes was asked about the good starts of the season and said, we've had 3 or 4 good games away. We've had 3 of our 4 games away, which is a really tough call. Quite a few have had 3 games at home. So for us to get those points from away games is really good. We've scored goals. And if we look as if we're going to score goals, and that continues, we have a great chance of picking up points. And that's a really good thing to mention. Obviously, 3 of the 4 we played away already, and traditionally last season we weren't picking up a lot of points away from home. We've already got 7 points. 7 points away from home already, which is great. So obviously we'll have to then play those games at home, and that's how we're gonna progress this season, I think. And I think Man City. I think for me, it's critical this Man City game and also Liverpool game is to get something out of those 2 games. Not saying we might not get something in both games, but to walk away with at least a point out of those 2 games. Otherwise, the hard work we've done in the first part of the season, in those first 4 games, would be diluted. And particularly with the TSC game coming up, we've got Lincoln City. We've got 5 games until the end of September, and then we've got a couple of games, and then there's another international break, and then we have a bit of a pile up, and then there's another international break in November as well. And he was asked a question about the fixture pile up. As I said, 5 games in the next 14 days, 2 weeks. So that's a lot of games played. And he was asked about that. And, to be honest, it's a very success, to be fair. We've been discussing it a lot, and we will look at how we can recover the players correctly, how often they can play. It doesn't mean you have to play 1 to 11. You have to use 21, 22 players, and that's what we've got to do in the coming months. Totally agree. It's going to be interesting to see the side we put out on Thursday, particularly. TSC are no mugs. And I know people going, they've won every game. I think they're undefeated this season, top of the league in the Serbian league. I grant it is the Serbian league. It's not the Premier League. It's not Serie A, but they're, winning does bring, it's about momentum. And they'll have it. They'll have it. So it's not going to be an easy game on Thursday. It'll be interesting to see who we play. The likes of, imagine someone like Pablo Fornals will get a lot of time. It'll be interesting also to see what we bring, what players from the Premier League side are brought into the Europa League side, if that makes sense. Where, the likes of Fabianski would come in for Areola, obviously. And then we play Liverpool on the Sunday. But Liverpool themselves, they start their Europa League game campaign. So it's going to be quite interesting to see what happens. Now, lastly, I wanted to just talk about, obviously, a question was asked towards the end of the press conference about Naya Figuered. And obviously, the tragic circumstances that for anyone living in Morocco in terms of the earthquakes at the moment. And he was asked how he was feeling, how Aged was coping with that. And he said, I had a chat with Naif this morning, and my understanding is they were in the city where the earthquake was. They were all shaken by the whole incident. He's back in, he's training, but it's a terrible tragedy for everybody. And there'll be, I imagine there'll be an announcement soon with West Ham and also Iron Sport and Food Banks in terms of giving aid to those in Morocco at the moment. I'm sure John, that's literally going to be announced very, very shortly. So keep an eye on that. John Matomsey doing a great job with the Iron Sport and Food Banks guys, and I think that's going to be launched, that appeal and what they're going to be doing very, very shortly. So it's good to see. And obviously with Nao's obviously very appreciative with that as well. We've got bags of clothes ready to send out to them already, which is absolutely brilliant. And that was it. We will be having, if anything comes through from the broadcast, there was obviously the embargoed bit of the actual press conference, which will be later on this evening. Anything will be, any breaking stuff, will be bringing you that. The channel members should be getting a video from Jordan from the Sun this afternoon, going through his press conference report, if that makes sense, and I'll be live from the London Stadium tomorrow morning as well for match day morning and all that good stuff. Have a lovely weekend. Have a lovely Friday night. Hopefully, West Ham won't ruin the weekend with a performance tomorrow, but they might even turn up. You never know. Anyway, if you're new in here, give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share, give it a bloody good subscribe. And don't forget to check out theseareMyBrand.com as well. The Graham and the team there, absolutely fantastic. Stay safe. Much love. Come on, you bloody irons. Irons.